Okay, so 624. Okay, so this video is about, as the title said, let us create the greatest healthcare services in Africa, or we could say in the land of the sun, and the land of the son of Cush, for historical references. Okay, now as a title, basically as an introduction, what we're going to do, we're going to present the visions and thinking and procedure to make this vision a reality. So in this huge vision, we have smaller visions because this is something that we want to do. We want to realize for Africa. So we are going to now take it out of visions and see what are the realities that we need to walk ourselves through to achieve the vision. Okay, that's basically what it is. So now we want to take a look at resources, because like we know, anything you do, you're gonna need resources. This is basic. If you're gonna cook, then you're gonna need something to cook. If you're gonna if you're thirsty and you want to go and drink water, then there must be water available for you to drink. So we have to look at the resources. Under resources, we looked in the areas of research, we look at funding, we look in the areas of development, we looked in the areas of implementation, and we take a brief look also at upkeep after we have implemented projects, ways of how we would plan to protect it, to make sure that we don't lose it, because we're going to do this for a purpose. And one of the purposes for generation that's going to come way after us. So that's part of it. And then we're going to look at the benefits, right? And then briefly, I'll show you some of the material that we use as reference, so we could put this thing together, or put this vision together for Africa. Okay, so quickly, we're going to look at research. Under research now, some of the stuff that we will need to do under research, right? We'll need to talk to the people in the communities, talk to the community leaders, and see what kind of healthcare they need, what are some of the sicknesses that are getting the better of the people, and how we can fulfill this need, how fast we can fulfill it, and how we can eliminate some of these sicknesses from among the people, whether they be young, age, or older, right? So quickly, to go further in our research, we're going to look at what's happening around the globe, and then we're going to compare what our visions are to an expect to what is there, to make sure that we position ourselves right at the table, and if even possible, eventually at the end of the table, because that's where we want to go, but we're not going to push it too much. We're going to take our time, and we're going to go to the active and say, okay, when it comes to health care, Africa is the place to be. So when people on Mars need health care, they'll look to Africa first. We will just something like that. So now we're going to look at funding now, right? Because we went through research and the importance of research. Funding. So from funding, we will have identified how many hospitals we need. This comes under funding. So we are looking at 7 major hospitals. 7 hospitals. Out of the 7, we're looking at 2 which should be at international level and 5 on a local level, but still being international. Because to be international or to be at a certain level, it depends on the number of beds. So we're looking at 5 hospitals with 9,000 beds at any given time. We can say 9,000 people come, and this is a bed for you. 9,000 at any given time. When we look at 2 with 12,000 beds, this is major. Right? In case of a disaster, and we have 5,000 injured people, we can all come and see a bed here, and we can take it out, okay? So we're looking at a total of, let's do the math. We're looking at 12,000 times 2. That's 24,000. 5 9 is 45 plus 5 9 is 45, right? 5 8 5 5 plus 45,000. So we're looking at providing 69,000 hospital beds in this vision over a 5-year period. That will basically give us we're looking at providing almost 14,000 hospital beds each year for Africa. This is a grand achievement. 13, you understand? This is good. This is achievement that we could say will take us right up where we need to be in terms of healthcare being the greatest provider, right? So that's what we're looking at, 13,800 beds. So our budget for this now, what we're going to spend, we based on what we want to achieve, and our research now, we're looking at $1 billion or close to $1 billion or anything from $500,000 up. If you want a Rolls Royce or a BMW, you're going to start at a certain price. If you want a car, most people start at a certain price. Same thing. So we're going to start at $500,000. So anywhere between $500,000 to $1 billion, we're going to build these facilities. And we're going to build, like 7 of them. So a ballpark figure could be $7 billion to implement this project. $7 million over 5 years, 7 billion. That's going to give us 7 divided by 5. So we'll be spending 1.4 billion annually to achieve this goal. How we're going to get funding? We're going to look at local funding from local banks, development banks, AB development banks, such and such. Or we're going to look at international funding. And the international funding, we're going to look at debt write-off. We're going to look at ways and means now that those who buy certain products from us, especially in the mining, we're going to have to organize these prices in such a way that we can get these money when we sell these items. In other words, we don't want to sell bauxite for $1. And now we get that $1, we can do nothing for healthcare. I'll just give an example. We don't want to sell cocoa. We don't want to sell nothing. It doesn't make sense to sell any product if we cannot get that kind of money to help us to fulfill this vision. Because if we don't, then our healthcare services will never get to where we want it to be, which is the greatest healthcare ever, or the best. Okay, are right on top of the table among those who are offering what they say is the best. It's something like that, right? So now we look at funding already, and we look at how we're going to acquire the money. We look at how much money we need. We said $7 billion. And $7 billion is not much, because not long ago, there was an investor who bought, I think it's a company. I think the name of the company is Twitter. And it is said that the investor was able to put in $44 billion. And this is not a company that's really fulfill emergency needs. It's a social media campaign. So if we look at social media, which is, we could say, entertainment, compared to healthcare, which is emergency, and we say, which one would you prefer? We'll realize that to spend 7 billion on healthcare when someone is spending 44 billion on entertainment, because in social media is it's an entertainment platform, so to speak, for the most part, right? Because in other words, there's no entertainment in social media. It's called social media. Social media entertain. So definitely, so basically, it would be better to spend 7 billion on healthcare, but also we had also looked at, which we didn't mention, I want to mention now, that where global warming is concerned and where sports is concerned for Africa, we're going to cut that budget in two to contribute to this to the package. When we say local funds, that we were supposed to mention that. That's part of it, apart from what the banks would contribute, because everywhere we get this money from, we're going to put $7 billion together. Okay, all right. So we're moving. So we have discussed our funding, and now, so we're going to look at development now. Now, in the development first, we would have enough money now, so we can acquire the land to do this thing, and acquire infrastructure. We're going to need ways of means of getting to the hospital, position the hospitals in a certain, where this position, whether it be in the big city or going to be rural area. How we're going to connect the big city? For example, if we're in Lagos, I want to go in the rural area of Lagos. Let's say a rural area of Lagos, Bagadi, rural Lagos. Rural Lagos. So rural Lagos. For argument's sake, rural Lagos. So Hogan, all right, Hogan State. So yeah, so let's say in Lagos, I want to go. Whatever, so we're going to look at how we're going to position it when it comes on to a place like Nigeria, because Nigeria is the location where we will build one of the hospitals that's going to take 12,000 beds. So that's that. We have also predetermined this from researchers. So in Nigeria, one of the 12,000, one of the hospitals, which so we're going to put in Nigeria, right? And if you can do research, and right now there is nothing of that size in Nigeria, right? And not only that, there are hospitals in a small country called Sri Lanka, with over 3,000 beds. So what we're doing for Nigeria, 12,000 beds, is basic. But what's going to make it grand is that we're going to all this is 5 years. It doesn't mean no after 5 years, within another 5, depends on it, we could double it. So within 10 years, we'll have, in 10 years, we'll have been able to gifted Africa with 14 hospital on the world stage. That's not impossible. But we have to start implement the vision. Now, we look at development, also to maintain infrastructure. In some cases, based on what we choose, let's go back to Lagos again. We are not going to build too far from current infrastructure, because we have a budget. So what we prefer to do, well, what our preference will be, we will build in new development areas around Lagos that could facilitate our development, so it just fall right in the mix, so we can save some money. So that's just a general part of the vision. Now, I've mentioned that Lagos is going to get the first 12,000 bed hospital. We may ask, who's going to get a second? The second going to be the next largest country in Africa, which is Sudan. Because later on, we could look at building another 12,000 in Ethiopia, had to Ethiopia, but right now, we know that Sudan have a large, tend to have some what you call it in Sudan, ancient Nubia, which is also connected to the sons of Kush, a very important region of Africa. Because of weather patterns, sometimes there are humanitarian connection. So we would build this 12,001 immediately in Sudan, in the central area, in capitals, maybe Khartoum, somewhere there in Sudan. All right? So that is a part of the vision that, that will take place there. Now, what about the other 9,000 bed hospital? We're going to put, we'll say, 2 of these now in further north. So we'll put 2 in Egypt or the surrounding areas. It could be Libya or one of those countries. And we're going to put 2 in south, one in south and one in south central. So we could put 1 in Zambia, which is not too far from South Africa or Zimbabwe, and then we would put 1 little above Angola or in the Angola area. Or we could look at Angola or Ghana, or we could say Burkina Faso, one of those areas that have a reasonable sized population. But Angola or Ghana, any one of those regions would work. But the only thing is, we would have built one already in Nigeria, which can help the spillover we may have from Ghana. So maybe Angola would be the better destination. This is something we could probably, put up for discussion. Now, so we have gone past implementation. So now we have decided where to build. We have decided where we're going to build now. So we're going to build now. So in building now, because we're going to land now, where to build, where time frame, some of the stuff we have to look at the information keenly at the professional level, right? Is time frame, quality control, and how will these hospitals be powered? What kind of energy? Well, we would have already known that solar would be our main supply of energy, but being an hospital, we'll have to have a backup energy. So we go solar for energy A, and backup energy B, we're going to go nuclear. So this will also mean building a few nuclear power stations or power plants not far or even in the vicinity where the hospitals are. For example, let's say we decide to build a small hospital of 9,000 beds in Ghana, we could look at building the power plant in Togo and find a way to get electricity over there and send it over there, and then look at the answer. Because so in other words, we'll be developing what we could say executing development in 2 countries at the same time. Ghana getting the hospital, Togo getting the power plant and stuff like that. And this is all about achieving our vision of having the greatest healthcare in Africa. It's all about it. So we agree, but we look at solar. So we're not going with solar, and you may ask the question, why solar? Well, solar, is new energy. It's a clean energy, and we're not going to generate energy for giving a power cut. So that's the thing. Other forms of energy can have, surge and voltage jump and all of that, and So with solar, we're gonna continuous energy. It's proven to be reliable, and we are going to use nuclear as backup. So if the solar fail, the nuclear will chip in. That's all it means. Because whatever really happen, and that's all the way. So now we are down now to upkeep and maintenance, because once we build these facilities, we can't just turn our back to them. We have to protect them. We have to operate them. So we could do a joint venture with the military of the country and with a certain population. So somehow the military and so we could work together at all to run these hospitals, because these hospitals are, I would say, is huge. They're going to be huge, and 9,000 beds is a lot of people. Just in case we happen to have to accommodate 9,000 people, for example. Now you're going to have public safety and all these things are going to be involved. So we're going to take this in consideration. So local and government, somewhere between, will work out how we can to upkeep and run the hospitals. That's going to include, the medical staff, finances, all these things going to come into play for the upkeep, because we are expecting that there are going to be returns on these eventually as we go along, so we can keep up with the upkeep. The returns will be for the upkeep. We're not going to look at making a profit. We're not going to look at making a profit, right? Because this is hell. So that the returns will give. One of the hospitals, we were thinking that the one in Nigeria, this one we could probably operate partial on the toll system. So you pay a toll to use it, and the toll could be cash or it could be assets. If it's a large expense, or something to do with that, you could use your cow or your goat or cattle or whatever, and you could just, as security, to take care. Could look at ways like this to get back returns of our product, to make this vision a reality. As we said, the greatest healthcare services in Africa. That's where we're heading. Now, so we have completed looking at upkeep. So we're going to look at benefits now. Benefits are major. We know that right away this would contribute to economic growth, because we are basically pumping money in the economy. So the economy is going to swell. For example, we can say if before we start the economy at $1, let's say we get $5 from overseas. Now we add 1 to 5 is 6. $5 from outside with $1 is 6. So we are growing the economy in doing this. And also we will be reducing sick people, because we can take care of more people who are sick to get them better. And while the next thing we will look at is that if the economy grows, then people can get better pay, right? For jobs or work they're performing. So these are benefits. And we could look at also for birth defects. We could look at using these hospitals as places to eradicate birth defects from among our population. And these will be great achievements. And there you have it. We have walked through most of what we need to do to achieve this goal. So in concluding, we could say that this goal is very much attainable, because like we said, it's just 7 billion. But there'll be some steps that we're going to take to achieve it. And once we get it, we'll have to maintain it, manage it, and make sure it's going to benefit the people the way that we promise. And we promise us to make it the best or the greatest, right? So that's basically what it is, right? So no, there was 2 other stuff. That we could mention, that that pertaining to benefits are comparing ourselves on the world stage, right? We would have no pulse on ourselves also among what's happening in the world in terms of healthcare. And we could use China for an example. China has made great gains in healthcare and they have a good standard. But with our plan, we're gonna pass China. Way past China. That's where we're headed. So that's basically that. Now, thank you for watching the video. If you want to see Africa with the greatest healthcare, the best in the world, then we ask you to be a part of the vision by subscribing, liking, sharing, and telling someone about greatness or the great plans that we have for Africa healthcare. That's all it is. Just pass on the message. And this will become the reality. And like we said, we're looking at 5 years. So if we were to implement this in 2023, then for argument's sake, 5 and 3 is here by 28. We're right up there where healthcare is concerned. Even though right now we are not on the list. Even though thousands of years ago we were at the end of the list. And this is something to even think about. So some of our reference material now for this presentation, we're just gonna quickly show you a few. As a matter of fact, let me show you the ones I have on the phone first, so you can get familiar with some information, some books that we have to look at. So this is a book by Michelle Obama, right? Oh, Michelle Obama book, and then we have this other book here about Lincoln. We have a book about Bob Marley. All of these books. We have a book here about Marcus Garvey. We have a book here about one of the great leaders of Africa, a pharaoh. His name is Tutankhamun. One of the greatest pharaohs in ancient Kemet. We have here Lenin, which is one of those founding fathers who turned the Soviet Union around after the Tsars and helped to make the Soviet Union what it is as you know it today. Basically, it wasn't like that. No, it's what it is. And this man contributed to that. And then we have the emperor himself, who always had good visions for African unity and, you know, anti-colonial behavior and all these things that is good for Africa. And then we have another book by Michelle Obama, which is a great book that says Go High. Now, we have a few more books too. We have this book here, this one, and we have some more here. We have this one called The People of the Nile, also talking about the sons of Kush and the great things that happened during that time of the Cushitic dynasties. We have this one here, Why Our Health Matters, the importance of staying healthy. You know, it's an important book. And then we have this one, Managing Health. Can't manage it, you understand? If you want to manage something, you gotta have somewhere to store it. So this is a good book. Then we have another book here, Ancient Records of Egypt. In this book, you have learned about a man called Amenhotep, which was one of the greatest doctor, if you want to call it, or a physician, that, right? And then we have 2 more books. We have a book here about Africa after colonization, you know, discussing a little bit about pre-colonization and post, and some stuff that was not done, and some stuff that, you know, this is a very important, interesting book. And then I have another book, the divide and rule. This is talking about the bars in Africa was positioned so that the resources could be taken out and not really benefiting the people. Very important book. And that's it. So that's it. And then we have the notes. You know, as you can see, we have it rough. And we just sort it out in our mind because it's something that's inside of the spirit. And that's where the power is. So, that's why we put it out into the vision. Right? And it's not only our spirit working, because we already know that the spirit of the ancestors are also inspiring us. So it's very important. So that's it. Well, thank you for watching the video. We ask you to do, as I say, if you want to see this vision for Africa accomplished, like, subscribe, share, tell a friend about the video, and keep Africa in your songs. Just keep singing for Africa, and the higher powers will do the rest. And we say peace, Africa. So, peace, peace, and this is our symbol. Let's show the symbol. This is all. See, that's. I want to make a symbol. This is it. Can you see it? Okay. We say peace, and this is our symbol. Let's make it properly. Peace. See, Africa. We put this like this, and over like this. Get it? Peace. Close this video by saying, Africa, we love you. And we're going to close the video by making the alpha. The alpha, and then Africa, we love you. Thank you for your greatness.